I mean, the gun stores don't like talk to each other or anything. But at the one store where the 50 cal in Guadalajara was found to have been picked up, and some of these too are online purchases, and then you go to the store and pick them up. But so, but that, I went to the Shooters Sports Center in Racine and asked, I was lucky enough, they handed over the store records for gun sales. I said, I have this case. I'd love to see the store records. And they gave them to me. They had fully complied with ATF. But what they showed was 4 guns had been picked up in the store, 2 of them by the same guy in a span of 6 months. And the first day that I had gone into the store and asked them, how many 50 cals do you sell in a year? They told me they were lucky to sell 1. And when I asked them, so it didn't ring any alarm bells when you sold 4 50 cals in 6 months, to be fair, it was an employee. It wasn't like the store owner. But he just looked at me and said, it's not illegal.
Yeah, I get that. But 4 of those, I mean, maybe it's a good commission for the salesperson. Maybe, there might be an event where people are just collecting them, but 4 in 6 months, that would raise a red flag with me. Right. That's a little like, dang, what do you need that for?
I mean, that's a lot of 50 cals. And
yeah.
well, I mean, when you consider how much money too, I mean, a 50 cal, we went to the store and they had one and they were kind enough to put it together for us. I mean, have you ever held a 50 cal?
I have.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have.
Yeah. They're heavy. I mean, I don't know the exact weight of it, but I would guess somewhere around the 50-pound mark is what it would probably also weigh, somewhere around there.
Like 30, I believe, but without the guns and the bullets.
Yeah.
And it was heavy. I was surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to think that a small town would sell 4 of those, I don't know.
I mean, that was one store that would sell 4 of them. They had picked up a bunch, and some other too. It was FN Scars. It wasn't only 50 cals, but they picked up sort of other high caliber weapons around the town.
What I don't understand is, how did they choose that town to be such a hub for purchasing guns? Was it just because it was just under the radar? No one was really talking. No one noticed. I guess no red flags after a few purchases. Might as well keep doing it until something happens. Or was there a reason why the Racine city was so prevalent in this?
So, first thing is that they had people there who they could trust. That has to be a component of it. And then, by the telling of the law enforcement officials I talked to in the States, part of this is because in Racine, Wisconsin, no one's looking for it. No one's assuming that cartels are buying guns in bulk in Racine, Wisconsin, because the majority of firearms are along the 4 border states, Texas, Arizona, etc. Firearms dealers along the border are very attuned to this. And when you look at the lawsuit from the Mexican government on U.S. gun manufacturers, which we can get into later, sorry to introduce another layer, but the Mexican government says, about 90% of guns are sold from one chunk of stores that are being irresponsible, is what their argument is. So that means if you're a gun store along the border and you're not trying to be involved in trafficking, your antenna is up. Where, according to the law enforcement officials I spoke with, in the interior of the United States, North Carolina, Racine, even Las Vegas, it's no, as you say, small town gun stores, they must be buying 50 cals in bulk for a Mexican cartel, Yeah. So they sort of thought we can get around this. And I guess, there's less checks in place, maybe among local law enforcement and local gun dealers.
Ironclad creates premium content no matter the environment. From extreme elements to unforgiving terrain, we thrive on crafting content that captures the essence of your brand in the most challenging conditions. Bring your brand story to life, ensuring your message leaves an impact. Ready to elevate your vision? Connect with us today at ironcladagency.com.
How were they able to, once purchased, then they have to transport them and somehow get them to Mexico? Did you by any chance uncover how they were doing that?
Yeah, they were just driving them to San Diego, and then they had contacts there, and then they would put them in a storage space, and then they would go to some place on the border that had been prearranged, and they would cross them. I believe that no, two agents did tell me that that was they paid off someone on the border to be able to cross the guns. And there's been videos in Vice News and other outlets of getting the guns across that way, paying agents off to look the other way. But they
Yeah,
also
I've been a
break them up into parts and put them into
right.
like different components of the car. Like they have a lot of different ways that they can physically get the guns over the border.